All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out by saying, Call Halayim La Yahawah, by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Harakak Radash Ma. Double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, and my elder heroine as well. Salutation to the Arkham that are pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. All right, on clock, son, by Yashar for the Lions of the Yashar camp. And this is Lions Den exhortation, spiritual hydration breakdown. Um, Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve this purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones who truly believe in the name Yahweh by Shem Shai. And what I'm going into is Isaiah chapter 14, and see where the Spirit takes me and try to run through Isaiah chapter 4. Probably won't do the whole chapter in this lesson, but see how far I get. It goes. So let's get it. Isaiah 14 and 1. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land." Right. So what is that? That's us having salvation. Israel's the only one that's chosen for salvation. You know what I'm saying? Most High is only dealing with the children of Israel. So let's go into that right there. It's for the Lord Yahweh. It's the Father's name, which means uh, He exists, the existing one, um, or to be. All right. It says, "We'll have mercy on Jacob." So how initially this is going into like why and how he had mercy on Jacob. How did he have mercy on Jacob? Through Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai bared our burdens because we're all worthy of death, being in a Gentile state of mind. This is going into this right here. Verse 1 is going into um Yahweh forgiving the children of Israel and bringing them back to him, him, grafting them in to the vine, which is Yahushua. Okay? It says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel." So, okay, let's go. He will have mercy on Jacob. Ice cream truck? Anyway, let's go. He will have mercy on Jacob. Okay, let's go into that real quick. Isaiah 53. All right, so this is going into how he will have mercy on Jacob. All right, Isaiah 53 and 1, it says, "Who has believed our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?" Right, the arm of the Lord is talking about that stretched out arm is Yahweh Shai. All right, it says, verse 2, it says, "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground." Right, see that? A root out of dry ground. He's coming out. He's being rooted out of place, out of a ground that's not bearing any, or like we weren't bearing any fruit, being in a Gentile state of mind, but he still came out from amongst us. You see what I'm saying? And he says he had no form or no comeliness. When we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Right? Because we were on our minds were on wickedness. Right? So we didn't look at Yahushua as beautiful, even though he was. And this is how also, if you go, it goes into like when it explains that in the Songs of Solomon, like Israel is going to look at the elect the same way, not having any form of comeliness. It said that's why it says, don't look upon me because I am black, but I am comely. I mean, don't look on me because I'm impoverished, but I'm still beautiful, right? We just like how we didn't look at Yahweh Shai as being as beautiful as he was, you know, giving us being able to allow us to have mercy for the Lord to have Yahweh to have mercy upon us because of Yahweh Shai. All right, verse 2. Isaiah 53:2, it says, "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness. When we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. He and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not." Why was he despised? He was despised because of us. No, we despise him, right? And surely he hath borne our grief, see that, and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of Yahweh, and afflicted. All right. So now he bore our grief. So let's go back to Isaiah 14:1 again. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land." See, that mercy that he's having upon us is because of the sacrifice that Yahweh made. See, so where it says in Isaiah 53:4, it says, "Surely he has borne our grief and carried our sorrows." See that? All right, verse 5, it says, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. With his stripes we are healed." You see that? So that's why, because the Lord's wrath is going on all, 2/3 of our people are going to catch it. Why? Because when Yahweh looks at the 2/3 of our people, he's not going to see the reflection of his son. Anybody that's on this earth, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that's in America or the places that's going to be destroyed, right? That doesn't bear the image of his son and bear fruit from the vine, the root, right, is going to be destroyed. He's not going to have mercy upon them because he've already took his son through that. Now he's having mercy upon his son. So the mercy he's having upon his son, Yahweh Shai, he brought him up, set him on the right hand side of the Father. Now that mercy is going to fall upon us, the ones that are the elect. Lord willing, I'm part of that number. So because through his stripes we are healed. That's why it's so important, man. That's why our faith is so important. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing we can do that can compare. Ain't no super teacher out here, super prophet or nothing. There's nothing we could do that compared to the sacrifice that, you know what I'm saying, the Lord made for us, for Yahweh to have mercy upon us. And the only thing he wants us to just believe, bro. Our faith amounts to so much more than we can understand. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says, when he returns, shall he find faith on the earth? Of course he wants to find faith on the earth. When he comes back to the place where he was humiliated, mutilated, like us to express how worth it was for him. You know what I'm saying? He don't want to come back down to the earth after he done went through all that, come down to earth. Or, oh yeah, man. Hey, what's up? Where you been? No, that's not what he wants to hear. He wants to hear a standing ovation. He wants to hear like applause. He wants to hear us praising his name, praising Yahweh's name. Everything that he went through. Of course, he wants to hear all that. All right. He said, so now let's read on Isaiah 14:1 again. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land." All right. So now he's going to have mercy on us through Yahweh Shai and place us in our own land. All right. So now the mercy. Let's go into the mercy again a little bit more. This is Isaiah 53:6. It says, "All we like sheep have gone astray." Right. See, that's gonna get in. We're going into the second part of Isaiah 14:1. Real quick, it says, "All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all." You see that? So keep in mind that all we like as sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity. Yahweh hath laid on him the iniquity of us all, and he's going to have mercy on us. And we're all worthy of worse than what Yahweh Shai got. Yahweh Shai was perfect. All right, he was made perfect. Come. So, verse 7 it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He was brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shears is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. All right, he was brought to a lamb that was gonna go to the slaughterhouse, but like a sheep that was gonna get they um like so he said nothing like it was like he was, you know what I'm saying, like nothing was gonna happen. Like, all right, yeah, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is what's gonna be. Kind of like how when Isaac was like when it went in what was that? It went into death of because Isaac had asked Abraham, you know, hey, we're going up here to the mount. Um, where's the sacrifice? And they said the Lord will provide a sacrifice for us. And now going into that sacrifice that be provided is Yahweh Shai. You know, all right. Isaiah 53 and all right. So now that goes into the more the mercy. So through Yahweh Shai, that's the only reason why we're able to get mercy. All right. So reading Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1 again, it says, the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. So now we really understand what that mercy is talking about. And will yet choose Israel, accept them in their own land. All right. So us going into our own land, right? Which is Israel. This ain't where we're supposed to rest at. Matter of fact, we need to be put in our own land. Hold on one second. Let me get that. All right. It's like I got a little phlegm building up in my throat. Um, Let me get it. What is it? It's Malachi 2:10. What was it? Micah 2:10. Micah 2:10. It's Micah chapter 2. Um, all right. Let's go to 2:10. I was going to read up a little bit higher, but we'll get a little bit off topic. Well, Micah 2:10 it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction, right? So this is not our rest. We ain't supposed to be getting comfortable in Babylon like we want to stay here. You know what I'm saying? We're hastening the day up to the coming of our Lord. So like as our faith is increased, like you know, praying and fasting, especially for the ones that are not meant to teach, that are out here believing this. It's so much power in faith. You having faith and the prophets that have faith in, everybody has faith in Yahweh Shai, but it's like, it's going to go into like how we were all grafted into the vine, right? Being Yahweh Shai. It started out with the ones that were woken up to teach, right? And they're out there on the highways and byways teaching, being grafted into the vine, Yahweh Shai, and the ones that are teaching, the ones that are believing, are being grafted into them. You see that? Because you have the vine, the root of the tree, or the vine of the tree, then you have the branches that form off the vine and the root. And what happens? What comes from that? Fruit. See that? So fruit. So so we're gonna get into that. Let's go back to so we're supposed to be getting up out of here because the Lord's gonna set us in our own land. We're not gonna stay on that topic right there. But let's go back to Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. It says, For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, accept them in their own land. So right. So now that just goes to show you that the people that are in our land are not supposed to be there. All right. All right. So now let's get to another part. It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right. Now what is that talking about? All right, they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So now the strangers. Let's go into the strangers. Who are the strangers? So remember we were just talking about the root, the vine, the root, same thing. Then the branches, and then the fruit. See that? It's all about life. You know what I'm saying? I had a wonderful conversation with the elder before I did this lesson, but like, yo, Lord's taking us somewhere, man. Out of here. Mentally, in every which way. All right. So now the strangers shall be joined unto them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Right? And how is that possible? It's all made possible because go to the beginning of Isaiah 14. For the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob. How did he have mercy upon us? He sent us Yahushua. All right. So he will be able to show us his mercy, not his wrath. All right. And he will yet choose Israel. Israel being the chosen. That's why Yahushua came out of, you know what I'm saying, Israel. All right. And it says, and set them in their own land. That's salvation. And we, you know what I'm saying, ruling under Yahushua and King David. All right. It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them. All right. Who are those strangers that shall be joined with them? The ones that follow the land whithersoever she goes, starting with the elect that were going out there to teaching, then the ones that believe, following in that same path, and we're both being grafted in by Yahweh Shai. See that? So now let's go into it. This is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 10. It says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse. All right. Jesse is the grandfather of King David. All right. No, Jesse is the father of King David. Right. I got that mixed up. Jesse is the father of King David, right? It says there shall be a root of Jesse which shall stand for an enzyme of the people. All right. So the enzyme of the people, he's a sign. All right. What does he say in Isaiah? Lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain. All right. So as we're lifting up Yahweh Shai upon the high mountain, being America, right? He's a sign, right, for the Gentiles to seek to, for them to follow. So in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an enzyme of the people. And he did that 2,000 years ago, right? It says, to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Really, right there where it says it should say him. All right. So we're cleaving. We're all cleaving to Yahweh Shai, man. It says so, and the Gentiles shall seek, and his rest shall be glorious. All right. So that's going into, and the stranger shall be joined with them. Right. With who? With the elect. they're all the elect, but the ones that were chosen to bring in the elect, they're going to be joined unto them. You see that? And they're all going to be joined unto Yahawah. In verse 11, it says, Isaiah 11:11, it says, it shall come to pass that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. We did it the first time in Egypt with Moses. All right. What shall be left in Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the isles of the sea, from all over the world. He's gonna deliver his elect. All right. To why? What? To be placed in their own land. All right. You see that? So Isaiah 11 and 11 again, it says, it shall come to pass in that day, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Israel, from Assyria, Slakia, from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the isles of the sea. See that from all over the world. It says, oh, Slakia. So who is he coming to get? Slakia. Who is he coming to get? Because you got, hold on, from all the isles of the sea, right? All right, so now check this out. I'm gonna skip straight to the point. All right, this is Revelation 7:4. It says, and I heard the number of them that were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Right, and then it goes into 12,000 from each tribe. Well, let's go down a little further. Verse 9. And after this, I held, and below, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations, kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. So those are the ones that cleaved onto the 144,000. You see that? The elect that were set out to be the governing body, the spiritual circumcision, that would be the governing body. So we're all Gentiles at one point in time. So we all needed to be grafted into Yahweh Shai. Let's go into that. This is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, wherefore remember that ye being in past times Gentiles in the flesh, right? Who are called uncircumcised, but that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hand. All right, because the ones that were relying on faith, they were cast out by the wicked Sanhedrin because they was like, nah, they Greeks, they Romans, they you know what I'm saying, just like how what I'm saying majority of our people are Americanized nowadays. It's the same thing. So the Sanhedrin that was set up felt like because they were going to according to Greek custom, there was no hope for them. But Yahweh Shai was telling them, like, bruh, I'm everybody hope. I'm the hope for you too, because if you don't have no faith in me, you ain't finna make it. Because guess what? You worried about the law, and you're not. They weren't holding the law up 100%. There were some things because guess what? Even from the time of Moses, there was when the Levites were going to enter into the Holy of Holies, they would have to. They would when they entered into the holy temple to make sacrifice, they would first have to make a sacrifice for themselves for their sins. You see that? Because like it says in Ecclesiastes 7:20, there's not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. So the Levites, who were the priests, were doing this in charge of the sacrifice. They would have to go in and make a sacrifice for themselves first, because they were not without blemish. So the only one that can make that true sacrifice, right, to go into the holy of holies was Yahweh Shai, because we all needed a sacrifice, even the ones that were called, like the Levites, the true priests. So even the elect, the 144,000, they needed to be grafted in too. We need to be grafted in. The Lord wasn't a part of that number, along with the ones that follow in the teachings that was brought unto them by Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. So so when it says they shall cleave, they shall. All right, let's read it again. Isaiah 14:1. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them." Right. So that's the one, the Gentiles that cleaved on to ones that were teaching about Yahweh Shai, right? And for the ones that were teaching about cleaved on to Yahweh, everybody cleaved on to Yahweh Shai to get to Yahweh. Bottom line was just the order how it was done. So the strangers, the Israelite foreigners or the Gentiles, right, that were grafted in, you might go into that in Romans too, that were grafted in shall be joined with them and cleave unto the house of Jacob. See that? Now we all going to see Yahushua. I done say, hey, y'all come over here, come over here. Y'all don't listen to what we said. Now we all going to see Yahushua, and we listening to Yahushua, and Yahushua taking us to Yahweh. You see that? All right, so let's go back to Ephesians 2:11. It said, "Wherefore remember that ye being in past time Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that ye were at times ye were without Yahweh Shai, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel, and strangers from the covenant of promise, having no hope without Yahweh in the world." So we ain't had no hope. All right. It says, "But now in Yahweh Shai, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh by the blood of Yahweh Shai Mashiach." And that's for all the elect, the governing body, 144,000, and the innumerable multitude of the Israelite foreigners. That all the bloodline still goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see what I'm saying? But we all fell away from our grace. Those are the fallen angels in Genesis, us. All right, so Ephesians 2:13, it says, "But now in Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, ye who sometimes were far off are made nigh through by his blood of Hamashiach." 14, "For he is our peace, who has made both one," right? Now we are all one, just like how they are one, "and has broke down the middle wall of partition between us," right? Just like how what he said, "I shall send you Elijah, who will turn the hearts of the children back to the father and the hearts of the father back to the children," man. So those are the ones that were teaching, giving that call out, and the ones that cleave onto that call out were grafted in through the ones that were calling out, who were grafted in to Yahushua. So we all get grafted into Yahushua. So the ones that were called to be present during those teachings are going to be with those are the strangers that are going to be joined unto them and cleave unto the house of Jacob. All right. What else did I want to get? Um. So let's read Isaiah 14:1 again. Give a little recap. I might go a little bit farther. Let me see. Oh man. Yeah, we gotta go into this. Hold on. Yeah, we gotta go in this. All right. So Isaiah 14:1 again. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob and will yet choose Israel." Right. The mercy we just went over that goes into Yahweh Shai. and us being the chosen, all right, and set them in their own land. That's salvation. And the strangers shall be joined with them, meaning we gonna be with we all gonna get salvation and be brought over there, right? The ones we're all grafted in. All the elect are grafted in. Whether you're in 144,000 or the innumerable mixed multitude, we had to be the innumerable mixed multitude were grafted into the 144,000. The 144,000 were and from that everybody was grafted into Yahushua. All right, so let's get Romans 11:1. All right, Romans 11:1. It says, "I say then, has Yahweh cast away his people? Yahweh forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin," because Paul was a Benjamite. Okay, it says Yahweh hath not cast away his people, which we foreknew, which the Benjamite would be the present day West Indians or like Jamaicans. Wot ye not what the scripture saith to Isaiah, how he maketh intercession to Yahweh against Israel, saying, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and digged down thine altars, and I am alone, and they seek my life. Right, because that's what 2/3 of our people seek to do. Cause the Holy One of Israel to seek from among us. What did Yahushua told the wicked Sanhedrin, you make the sepulchre for the prophets, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 4 it says, But what saith the answer of Yahweh unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men, meaning completion, who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal, right? And guess what? They're going to cleave on. That's who they're going to cleave unto. And even so, then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. See that? It says, and if by grace, then is no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. It says, what then? Israel have not obtained what he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Right? They weren't able to cleave on to Yahweh because they were blinded. They couldn't see him or hear him. It says, according as it is written, Yahweh hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So they won't be the ones joined on too. The Israel, all right, meaning the ones that were meant to teach, or the ones that came first. All right, it says the ears to hear that they shall not hear unto this day, as it is written that let the table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they should bow down their backs always. What words? All right, let's keep going. It says, verse 11, it says, I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Yahweh forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation has come unto the Gentiles for to provoke them to jealousy. See that? And provoke to emulation, to be brought forth, being drawn to what they see in righteousness, right? It says, now if the fall of them be the riches of the world, right? You know what I'm saying? So the fall of them created more wickedness and more Gentiles, all right? And the diminish of them be the riches of the Gentiles, how much more is their fullness when they be brought back? See that? It says, For I speak to you Gentiles in so much as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify in mine office. All right. For if I by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are that are my flesh, and might save them. Right. See, Paul was trying to get them to draw unto him. Paul was pulling them in like, yo, I'm going to the house. I come this way. See that? The Paul was trying to get them to join unto them, to him, and what they were teaching. All right. It says, verse 14, it said, if by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead, right? Being brought forth. Or if so much the fruit be holy, now we're getting back to this root of the vine, the branches, and the fruit. It says, for if the fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. See that? It goes from branch, root, holy. The root is holy, the branch is going to be holy, and the fruit is going to be holy. All of it brought together. It says, and if so much the branches be broken off, and thou, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and the fatness of the olive tree. See that? So partaketh the fatness of the olive tree. So we're all being grafted in. We gotta keep going. All right. Romans 11:15, it says, for if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall be the receiving of them be but life from the dead? Right. You know, there's nothing else that it could be. Like, so we were once in this world without hope, and then we were brought back to life through Yahushua. Verse 6 is, for if the fruit be holy, the lump is also holy, and if the root be holy, so are the branches. All right. And if so, if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, all right, wert grafted in among them, and with them partakest of the root and the fatness of the olive tree. Right? So now, being a part of the olive tree, part of the branches. All right, that true branch is Yahushua. This is John 15:1. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Let's go back to all the way to Isaiah 15, where it talks about the vineyard of the Lord. Verse 2. Start at 15:1 again. John 15:1. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that bringeth forth not fruit, he taketh away. That's just explaining right same thing that was being explained in Romans and in Isaiah 11. All right. It says, every branch of me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it and make it bring forth more fruit. See that? So we're all grafted into that tree. You see that? Regardless of, like, going back to Isaiah 14:1 again, it says, for the Lord will have mercy upon Jacob through Yahushua, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, right? And the strangers shall be joined with them, right? So we're all going to become that one tree. We're all going to become that one tree, man. Um, and that's the goal. Become that one tree. All right, I think I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm probably gonna try verse 2 tomorrow. Lord willing, this lesson was edify and serve the purpose for the hope of the elect, the ones that truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Right, Isaiah 14:1 again. It says, for the Lord will yet have mercy on Jacob. Right, all right, through Yahushua, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, right, Israelite foreigners, the ones that were grafted in unto the elect, shall be joined with them, and it shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. We're gonna hold that spot all the way to the end. All right. Lord, will this lesson edify and serve His purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones that truly believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. With that, I'd like to say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harikak Radash, my Ma. Double honor to the other apostles, the great millstone, and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the argument of pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom.